Hey everybody, it's me, Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, the 2017 Creamdown.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's episode 127, the 2017 Creamdown.
Creamdown. So, I bet you're asking yourself, what is a Creamdown?
Yeah, what are they talking about?
What's a Creamdown? Well, we'll tell you. We aren't entirely sure either. I think last year we made some jokes about calling this the Creamdown, and we even went so far as to putting it in the calendar way far in the future.
Yep.
So as this episode was approaching, Andy and I were like, what is Creamdown? Why does it say that in the calendar here?
No clue. We even went back and listened to our old episode and got a vague idea of why we called it Creamdown, but it didn't really answer our question here.
But you know what? We stick to our guns.
That's right.
That's what we do.
And we better believe this is definitely a Creamdown.
Right. So not only will we talk about some of the happenings in 2017 from Commander, we will spend a brief moment talking about milk products. Just a brief moment.
Brief moment. You know, so there is... Sorry, as I get my cat out of the way. There is a small thing. It was like we called that episode the cooldown.
Right.
And so we talked about how like ice cream, like cool down, like something with that, right?
Aha, it all makes sense now. Yes.
Yeah.
Ice cream cools you down, but drinking milk on a hot day is not good.
Yeah, there was something about cream, like just eating cream when you were like drinking cream when you were hot didn't seem good, but then ice cream did seem good. Anyways, at any rate, this is the 2017 cooldown / Creamdown.
And that concludes our dairy talk.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this is just us decompressing after 2017. The new year is upon us. We're in 2018. Just a quick look back now and talk about some of the stuff that happened last year and how it affected Commander specifically, how it affected this show, things like that.
And a couple of things that we learned along the way.
Along the way, exactly. Yeah, just a couple life lessons that we managed to, stick in our craw.
Yeah, but next week we'll be back to doing a deck list for you, $50 or less. This week we're obviously going off base, but as always, even if we're a little off format, we're still brought to you by Ultimate Guard, Sleeves and Boxes, the Wizard's Tower. What a great place to buy singles online. And, of course, our kind-hearted patrons. We could not do this without you guys.
Absolutely.
We could do it. We did do it without you guys for a time, but it was worse.
Oh, man, it's way worse. Go look back. Speaking of Creamdown that first year, and just the quality of video and, like, the audio wasn't so bad, but like we definitely got better.
I'm not embarrassed of what we did.
No.
I thought we did good stuff. And they do say that, comparing oneself to other people is dangerous and it doesn't make you feel good. But if you must compare yourself to who you once were. And I think we've done some real good growth.
There's a Creamdown right there for you.
Yeah.
That's just a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be the same. So let's get an ad from Wizard's Tower right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, how's it going, everybody? I'm the Old Man 2017. You know that weird New Year's thing? They don't do it a lot where they show a little baby who's wearing a 2018 and like an old man who's wearing a 2017. That was me, the old man. You think that we die at the end of the year? That's a very creepy image if you think about it. Just this old man's right about to die and we're gonna celebrate that. But don't worry about me. I don't die, I just retire. Me in 2016 and 2015, we got a cool play group together and we order Magic singles from the Wizard's Tower, wizardtower.com. And since we love the Commander's Brew podcast so much, we use their coupon code. This month in January, it's Brew Year. I mean, it reminds me of that stupid baby, but we'll see him in a year. We'll invite him to the group. And I also get 3% kickback on my next order. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I was going to die at the end of the year, but I guess I didn't, and that's a huge relief. Oh man, December's very nerve-wracking for the year person. Anyway, I'm not gonna tell the 2018 baby. Let that kid figure it out for themselves.
Yes. Nice to know that Old Man New Year's doesn't just die on December 31st. Nice to know that they still hang out afterwards.
But they become so old so quickly.
Yeah, I guess, if you become that old in a year, I don't know. I mean, according to they're playing with guys from 2015, so I guess they live, maybe they get frozen at that age.
Yeah, they just stay that old.
Yeah.
Imagine it was that they became 2017 years old, like in a year.
It would be like the end of it'd be like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where their faces just turn into skeletons.
They're all just mummies at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There you go. That's how we get this show to you. Okay, so we actually have one big announcement to make before we get into the full topic.
This is huge.
This is huge. We've been waiting to drop this on you for a long time, and finally we're here now. We can do it. Sean, do the honors.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a playmat now. Dun, 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 dun. Guys, this is great. We've got a playmat. Matt Straught, the guy who did our logo. We love that logo. We had him
volunteered to do our logo, who just said,
yes,
your logo sucks. Here's a much better one. And he's right. And here it is. Here we are.
And it's perfect. It's so great. It's just, we didn't know it's the logo we always wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
But and so we had him do a playmat for us, and there's so many hidden little Easter egg jokes in there about like old episodes and stuff. It just looks great. I can't wait. And what we're going to do is we're going to sell them for the month of January. We're going to sell them forever. Maybe not forever, but we're not going to have a closed sale thing, but we want to do something special for like all you ground floor people. So for the month of January, that's when we're putting the first order at the end of January. So that's our pre-order time.
Right. And we're going to release what it looks like. I bet you're like, hey, what does it look like? How am I supposed to know what it looks like? How am I supposed to order it? We're going to release it to patrons today. We're going to show them what it looks like. And then very shortly after that, we're going to release it to everybody. So a little bit of a bonus if you're a patron there. We, as far as like the ordering process and things like that, stay tuned to our Twitter, because that's where you'll get more details about that. We just wanted to basically release the image and show everybody, and then we'll get the ordering details like up on our website and on our Twitter and stuff like that. You can click through and find all that stuff. So keep an eye out on commandersbrew.com and our Twitter at commandersbrew, because you'll be able to purchase our new playmats, and they'll also be offered as patron like the bonuses, right? Like for the like perks for the patron level that we've decided. So yeah. Keep an eye peeled for that.
Keep an eye peeled for that. We have a bit of setting up to do. We don't have a way to like buy them right now.
What do you mean?
Like you can't go to a website right now.
I thought you meant we don't.
Like,
I was like, yes, we do.
Andy and I do, but we do not currently have like a front storefront thing where you can click on buy. But we will have one by mid-January. This is just the teaser to get you drooling a little bit.
Yeah. So basically, it's just the art release. So yeah, mid-January, look out for how you can actually buy them. We'll say it on the podcast as well to jog everyone's memory. But it's coming out. I think they're going to be like $25.
That's the estimate.
$25 USD probably. There may be discounts here and there, but we'll talk about that in the future. But until then, enjoy. Patrons can enjoy looking at the playmat right now with this episode. And for everybody else, it'll be a bit later. Okay. Now on to the main topic.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is all the sets that came out in 2017 and some of our favorite cards and commanders that they brought us for our format.
Yeah, we had a pretty good year as far as sets go.
Did.
We talked about a lot of. I remember like there was at one point where it's like, is this too much? Like, is there too much stuff coming out now? Like, do we not get a chance to really, sit in and like actually, like get into these sets, and I think that's kind of true, mostly near the end of the year there.
Yeah. And just as a like a spoiler alert, we're not even gonna talk about stuff like Arch Enemy or like that kind of stuff.
The
Like
plane
so like
chase and all that
not
stuff.
gonna talk about those ones, but like we got bombarded with product, and I gotta say, keep it raining.
Yeah, I definitely think there's like a downside to overproducing stuff, but I kind of don't care that much. I'd rather there just be more. So if you if I had to choose, I'd be like I'd rather more than like too much than not enough.
Yeah.
Are you doing an ad for Tim Hortons right now? Is that what
Oh
that
no,
is?
I was
It look-
maybe I was caught in thought as
Yeah.
I was having a sip.
You really were.
Let me think about this over a sip of delicious Tim Hortons coffee.
Our official coffee sponsor. No, my God, I wish.
Can you imagine if we were sponsored by the largest brand in Canada?
Yeah, that's the largest fast food chain in all of Canada.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it is for sure. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
But okay, now I can't even remember what we were talking about.
We're talking about, is it possible to have too much? Is too much of a good thing? Yes. I mean, if you drink too much water, you could die. So yeah, too much of anything is no good.
Yeah,
that's
true.
just a fact.
But if given the choice of having not enough of it and having too much of it for Magic sets and new product and even the reprint and stuff like that, I'm picking too much over not enough.
I think too much because if you do not enough, I mean, we'll get into this, I suppose, tangentially, but I like that there's still a bunch of commanders we haven't really dug into. If it was not enough, we'd run out of show ideas and we'd be like, well, I guess we've used every commander that came out this year, so I guess here's other ideas, which is fine. I'm happy to do that. But I love that there's so much uncharted territory still to brew decks about.
Yeah, they're giving us more than we can handle, which is great.
Yeah.
So the first set that we dealt with in 2017 was Modern Masters 2017, the third Modern Masters set. Which we drafted a little bit on our stream over at twitch.tv/commandersbrew. We had a good time doing that. But this, most importantly, I mean, especially for Commander, this gave us a good amount of reprints, right? Like,
yeah,
more, I think, Commander reprints than maybe some of the other ones. Maybe not the first one, but this one gave us like some ones that we really, really wanted to be reprinted. Like, for example, our boy here, Craterhoof Behemoth, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Hoof, I mean, we were talking about getting this guy reprinted for so long, and then it finally happened, and it brought the price right down.
It's at the I think didn't Aether Revolt come out before that? Aether Revolt was January. I think Modern Masters was March.
Oh, really? Oh, I just have it backwards here then.
Anyway, no big deal. Just it was nagging at me. But yes. Sorry, I'm back with you. Craterhoof, huge, right? Yeah, this set gave us major commander staples for reprints, right? Craterhoof Behemoth, Cyclonic Rift came back in this one.
Yep.
Deadeye Navigator is in this one.
Snapcaster Mage.
Snapcaster Mage, right? I mean, we don't deal with those ones necessarily for our budget purposes, but man, these are commander staples. But it does bring it back down in price so that we can get access to it. We got Basilisk Caller reprinted. That's a card that, like, I really want to give creatures Death Touch, but that card got expensive. But now it's like under $5. But it was like above 10 for a while because it was just there was no good ways to give a creature Death Touch on a colorless card that weren't way more expensive.
Yeah, since the printing, this has been brought down under $5, which I know it was over before.
I think it was close to 10.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that's awesome, man. That's why I love these types of sets. Obviously, they're making stuff more budget friendly for those of us who often think about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I loved this set. I love what it did to obviously the economy. I love what it did for Commander. It put a lot of these powerful cards within reach for a lot of us players who they're not normally in reach of, and yeah, just I mean, we were gonna get some more reprints later in the year with Iconic Masters, But this one had a lot of good stuff, and I think I guess the one of the complaints that maybe people got. I mean, even though we did get Damnation in this set, which a lot of people were asking for, stuff like Snapcaster, Craterhoof, things that were expensive that are now brought at least a bit lower in price. Snapcaster and Damnation are still obviously pretty expensive, but it actually reprinted a lot of the stuff that wasn't super expensive. That is good for Commander. Stuff like I don't even know, like Restoration Angel, which wasn't super expensive, but now it's definitely not expensive, and like Phantasmal Image, which is like a $7 card, I think, and now it's way down there.
Past in Flames.
Yeah, there you go. Like cards that were like just out of budget range, now they're way within. Like that's to me, that's the happier. Like, okay, for every Craterhoof that was $30 and now it's $15, that's great, or $12 or whatever it is now. That's cool too, but I'm more happy to get things under $5, right? That were above it before. Obviously, for our show, that's why. That's
what we deal with. And you know what? Maybe that's for us to like take a better look at it, because like I know that I tend to write off cards once they get expensive. Like I don't think about Basilisk Collar anymore. It's not in my brewing brain.
Same here.
But maybe it's time I got to think about it again and be like, yeah, maybe it's back in.
Definitely is. It's $3. Like this is a card that this is a card we should be thinking of now.
Sphinx's Revelation is under $3.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that card
got over 5 for sure.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah. So we never even really thought about it. Yep. Yeah. It's time we kind of took a look back at the scale of what things are. We have this idea, and like once these things come out, it changes it drastically. All right, well, let's go back in time, I guess, to the first set.
Aether Revolt.
Revolt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind starting with a kind of like a greatest hits kind of thing, so that's fine by me.
That's fine. But
Aether Revolt came out in January. We started with the second half of the block of the card, right? So this, again, this set, we're not going to talk about Kaladesh, because that would have been the year prior, but we got some great cards out of this set. Specifically, I'm not just talking the block about this set. I guess one I want, like Rishkar's Expertise. All the expertises, like that's the one where it's 4 green. You draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So that's usually a lot of cards in green. And then you get to cast a free card, convert a mana cost 5 or less. So wonderful. Love that card.
This is a great card. I haven't even started to use this card yet, but I know that I want to. And I knew back then that I wanted to too. It's just, yeah, this is great.
Yep. I mean, we got, what else did we get? We got War of Invention. That's the one that at instant speed lets you tutor up an artifact and put it onto the battlefield.
Yeah, the Court of Calling, but for artifacts.
Yeah. That's super fun. Lots of cool stuff. And then I think this is a staple in green decks. Lifecrafter's Bestiary.
Ooh, yeah.
It's the 3 mana artifact that lets you scry 1 on every upkeep, and when you cast a creature spell, which green decks tend to do, you get to pay an extra green to draw a card. You can turn every creature into a cantripper for an extra green if you want, if it's convenient to you.
Yeah, this is a card that I have been using and have put in a couple decks.
I love it.
This came out, and it was like it for a while there. It was gaining in price. I think
Speculation.
Yeah, maybe Speculation. Maybe it was using a standard deck. I don't know. But it's since kind of settled down to just over $1.
Ooh, and I think I want to mention, because whenever I brew white decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they're very fragile to Wrath, so I want to do your Rootborn defenses, make everyone indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
But we got one for green that's even cheaper now, Heroic Intervention.
Right.
Right? It's 1 and a green. All your permanents gain hexproof and indestructible. So you also get that hexproof angle. So, in a pinch, you can save one thing from something awful.
Yeah. That's definitely not the way you want to use it, I think, in Commander.
But a mode is a mode, man. I'll take an extra mode.
And if it's between you and losing the game, right? I mean, you are going to use it that way. So,
yeah.
Heroic Intervention, definitely kind of an underrated card. A card that went sort of. We liked it at the time for sure, and but I think for like the rest of the year, like, did we even use it? Like, I don't even know. Probably not.
I mean, because we have that effect in white so much, we just don't need it. But it's nice if you don't have access to white.
Yep, definitely. What happened?
Do you want to talk about some of the commanders from that set, Or do you want to go
Yeah.
through cards by cards first?
No, let's talk about some of the commanders in that set.
Okay, good. So this was the set that gave us the monocolor commanders.
Right.
We got one of each color. I think Baral gets a lot of attention. I think Yehenny is a great commander. What's Rishkar up to? Rishkar was in standard, so we forgot about Rishkar because of price. But
Rishkar's back.
Oh no.
Yeah, Rishkar's down to like $1.25.
Do you know what I'm thinking of? I'm mixing Rishkar up with a former mono green commander. The one, who was it that you draw cards if you have the biggest creature? No, you get mana based on the biggest creature you have. I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to go down that road because it's just it's a disaster.
I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like isn't that a conspiracy card?
Yes,
You're talking
maybe.
about
It was
Selvala?
the new Selvala. That's what I'm thinking.
But she couldn't have been in standard.
No, she wasn't, but she got very expensive very quick.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah, SRAM is the one I would think is to me is the big standout. SRAM became like a definite sort of default mono white equipment deck.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like you draw a card whenever an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell. Like this guy became an auto include in any equipment deck that has white, any aura deck that has white, and I guess vehicles is just a bit sort of a bonus. There isn't really a vehicle deck to speak of yet, but those are two big like decks for white, right? White loves auras, white loves equipment. So any kind of Voltron, you're putting this in there for sure.
Oh,
And
for sure.
And it's just a house. It's just so good. It's your best card draw engine in those decks.
And like that's so good for mono white too, right? Like it's so rare. I mean, I know it's a bit counterintuitive because you're just like, oh, cool, white gets a ton of card draw. It's like, well, that might be true, but it has to come from like artifacts, vehicles, equipment, and auras. So like you can't just get extra card draw on anything you want in white, but like it's not necessarily a card draw engine on a token deck. But well, I mean, you know what? But we got cat token decks, so they're white. So like you could do it. I don't know, man. I like SRAM. SRAM's great.
SRAM's good. SRAM's very good, and as a commander, he's my favorite of the mono. Although, like, listen, Rishkar's very good mono colored commander. Yehenny's good too. So, I mean, I happen to like SRAM the best. This is the set, though, that we also got Planar Bridge and Paradox Engine. Let's not forget about those two cards.
Let's not forget about those broken one of them.
Yeah, right? Like, Planar Bridge is the 6-mana legendary artifact. You pay 8, tap it, and just put a card from your library, like a permanent card, onto the battlefield, which is nuts. And then Paradox Engine is the 5-mana artifact that whenever you cast a spell, you untap it, everything that's non-lands that you own. It's like... These
AKA
two cards
Infinity Engine.
Crazy. And like, every time I've seen a Paradox Engine played, it ends up being the winning deck.
Yeah. Ain't nobody casting Paradox Engine just to give their creatures pseudo vigilance.
No, exactly.
No. We're casting Paradox Engine to abuse it. And yeah, no wonder people didn't like the Tezzeret and what he had planned, because he just shows up with like that, like story wise in Aether Revolt, he shows up with this Paradox Engine. Everyone's like, wait a minute, you're just gonna get infinite mana with this, aren't you? And then you're gonna win the game. We got to take you down.
Yeah. And I mean, that being said, every time I've seen it come out, I think that whatever it played it has won. But I still think that it's fine and should not be banned or anything. I don't think it's created any ban-worthy games, and it's because it doesn't it's very powerful in and of itself, of course, but it does need a lot of other stuff. I've said this all when it first came out too. It needs other stuff to work, and it's not the same type of like everyone's trying to steal it and reanimate it, and like it doesn't help me if I'm just a regular creature type of deck, right? Like that this card is not that good to me, so
yeah,
it doesn't take over games in that way. Anyways,
I mean, yeah, because like so many, like, I mean, if you want to, you could build a deck that wins on like turn 4, turn 5.
Yeah.
And this card doesn't win on turn 1 or 2. Yeah. So it's like, it's fine. Like if people want to go there, they'll go there. But like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But there's Aether Revolt, I think was a very good commander deck or commander set. Even stuff like Metallic Mimic, which is a little expensive because so we don't talk about it a lot, but it's a great commander card for tribal stuff.
Oh yeah.
It gave us a great commander card in Disallow.
Disallow, yeah, right?
Like counter a spell, or an activated ability, or a triggered ability, all for the price of a regular cancel. Like there's no reason to run cancel anymore ever.
Yeah,
Well, it kind of already wasn't one, but
no, we always preferred the ones that exiled.
Yeah, and poor cancel. I feel kind of bad for cancel.
I'm starting to feel bad for a regular counterspell.
Yeah, I feel bad for cancel because cancel was the first counterspell I ever saw, and I was like, oh, neat. And now it's like just terrible.
Yeah, it's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it really is. It's too bad. Yeah, so Aether Revolt was very good to us as commander players. I'd say we did miss the fact that it didn't have any multicolored commanders, so it didn't have any standout effect on commander like the commanders, the generals, so much. Like the mono guys saw some play, but like I feel like mostly people are not really running monocolored commanders.
It's hard. There are because you don't have a lot of range with a mono commander that isn't already done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to be hard to knock out. That's why SRAM is so exciting because it feels different than every other mono white deck.
Yeah, it gives you something that mono white doesn't usually get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas like Rishkar, it's like, oh, I get to tap everything for mana. Of course, that's very good. But like, we kind of do this already.
Been there, done that.
Good call. What do we have next? These are from here on out. I do believe these are in sequential order.
I believe you're right. We need to change the set code on this one. This is AKH.
Right.
Amonkhet.
Right. You know what? Before we get any, I wanted to say this off the top of the show. I'm so dumb. So I'll just say it here, smack dab in the middle of it. Or maybe we can record something and put it at first. That's what we'll do. Okay, never mind.
Oh, I don't even know what it is. Suspense. Okay.
Okay. We'll record something and put it out first. So actually, you already know what I'm talking about right now. Okay.
But I don't.
Sean doesn't in this moment, but he will.
I will later. Okay, great. I will have already spoken on it.
Exactly.
Okay, next up. We visit the plane of Amonkhet, and our own mascot representative, Nicol Bolas, is rumored to be appearing. The citizens of Amonkhet worship him as if he is a friendly god, but we know he's going to be mean.
Yeah.
But he's not here yet, but here we go. Another set that gave us some fantastic commander cards.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm going to start small and say, we got the Monument Cycle, which we have been on about on most recent episodes.
Yeah.
They go in any deck, and they just do very useful things, whether or not you're in the color of choice. In the color, it's a discount. Like, it's a card that creates a discount, right?
For creatures,
and for creatures, but you get extra bonus if you're a creature deck. Love those things.
Oh, yeah, and we've said it a couple times recently, the Oketra's Monument. I love that. I even love the red one if you're dealing with graveyard deck specifically. Man, I think they're great. They're really good. The black one's good too, and the drain decks. Yeah.
Yep.
And that is starting off small because this is also a set where we got a pretty huge commander card in Anointed Procession. This is the white version of Parallel Lives, which is a massive commander card. If you're dealing with tokens, you're running Parallel Lives. Well, now in the other token color, white, we finally get one, and it's the exact same card. It's just in white.
Yeah.
And we saw this card go up in price so quickly. Mostly because I think it's played in standard, and but I mean, us commander players wanted it too, so
ain't no commander player passing one of these.
I mean, it's kind of settled back down to be around $7 right now, and for a while I think it was up around 10 or 12.
Yeah.
So I think the standard effect is lessening on it, but it's still up there. Like it's still.
I don't think it's gonna drop any further.
No, you just have to look over at Parallel Lives. Like, how much is that card? Oh, like, $8 or $9.
Good question. I'm gonna look it up.
Parallel Live.
Yeah.
Parallel Lives is currently $8.60 around there. So yeah, Anointed Procession, something that a lot of commander decks definitely made room for this year. There's some other really great cards too. Some other if we're just looking by like what people were playing. I mean, Pull from Tomorrow, the X.
Another X draw spell. Love those instant X draw spells.
Yeah, like right. Like this is like kind of it's like if you have your what's it called, the Blue Sun Zenith, and you want another one with a very similar effect. I mean, obviously this doesn't get shuffled back into your library, and it comes with having to discard a card. But if you're drawing 10 cards off of this thing,
but you get one extra card though, right?
Exactly, you get that one extra card because it's not 3 blue.
Yeah, so in it, it's you see an additional card, but you just have to put one in the bin, which is fine by me.
You're gonna have to do that after a Blue Sun Zenith anyway, so
probably.
So Pull from Tomorrow gave a little redundancy to those decks. I mean, as foretold, Vizier of the Menagerie. I mean, we're talking really neat cards with big effects on the game. I love this one. I gotta say this one, Prowling Serpopard.
Yep.
Right. 1 and 2 green for a 4/3. It's a cat snake. For one thing, I just love that there's a cat snake. But he can't be countered, and that now creature spells you control can't be countered. Like this goes in a lot of decks.
Yep. I think we got Sandworm Convergence. That's an amazing top end card that just kind of like locks some stuff down. Big fan of that. I like Cast Out. It's like flash, kind of just put a permanent under it. It costs a little bit more than some of the other effects, but to have flash on it is just big game.
Yep.
Instant speed, basically. We haven't even talked about the gods. I guess we'll do that when we talk about legendaries. Big fan of Bounty of the Luxa, even, right? Just a simple blue-green card. Every other turn, it's gonna ramp you or draw you an extra card. Big fan of that.
Yep, very neat effect for sure. Now, if you want to talk about commanders,
yeah,
I'm gonna take this.
Okay, type legendary. We are using Scryfall to go in there. Yeah, so we got the God Cycle. The God Cycle, in my opinion, are a little tricky to brew around. I'm not super into most of them to brew around because they're all monocolor. They all have some pretty big restrictions, but big fan of Samut, Voice of Dissent. We got Hapatra. We got Temet, Vizier of Nectamun. We got some good multicolor commanders in this set.
Yeah, I think I think the one that I've seen posted about the most and talked about and people asking for deck lists and things like that is Hapatra.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think Temet might give Hapatra a bit of a run for her money.
I've seen more Hapatra decks than Temet decks for sure.
Okay, fair.
Posted on Reddit and things like that, right? Like talking about our community. And I know that, and this one is kind of a paint by numbers one in that, like, okay, there's probably only a certain amount of green, black, -1/-1, counter cards. So you kind of just slot them all in. I bet most Hapatra decks look pretty similar. But it's exciting because we never had this in these colors before. We never had a real commander to pull this theme and these two colors together. So that's always exciting for commander players when you get something new like that.
Yeah. Cool. Amonkhet.
I mean,
dig it.
Temet's cool too.
Yeah, I like I like Temet too, right? Just amping up that token strategy, right?
Yeah, definitely. Other set.
And then Nicol Bolas returns.
Yeah.
The second son approaches and he arrives and everyone's very, very sad. But we commander players, we are not sad. This set upped the game even. So I just want to talk about we didn't get a Crucible of Worlds reprint, but we got another way to do Crucible of Worlds that's kind of free. Not free, but like way cheaper. Ramunap Excavator. Right now that thing's under a couple of bucks. Get a stack of them, put them in every green deck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Very good card. And I think probably the best commander card from it for sure. Well, maybe not. Maybe.
I mean, there's an artifact that might be one of the best commander cards from the set too.
Are you talking about
Mirage Mirror, yeah.
Mirage Mirror, I gotta say. So I've a couple times included this in brews, and it ends up being like that 63rd card, that 62nd card sometimes, where I'm just like, ooh, like I have this like definite effect, or I have this thing which can be a lot of, which like it's the variance is really high on it, and I definitely have left it in some decks, but I've also cut it from others. So I haven't had it come up yet in Commander, so I'm very excited to see how it works out.
Yeah, I think just this card is just pure potential.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love in 2017 with a little
Yes,
X
you did.
spell called Torment of Hailfire. I just love it. X black. You repeat X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. The card is not just an effect, it's also a show. You get a show when you cast this. You get to watch your opponents struggle and think and agonize about the decisions. Sure, Exsanguinate's a million times better. Exsanguinate's just like, Exsanguinate for 15, everyone's dead, cool, let's shuffle up and play again. But Torment, they gotta think it out. They gotta like see what they can do. I love it.
It's torture is what it is.
Torture.
It's torment, and you love to inflict torment. We discovered this year.
Am I a bad person?
Yes. Yeah, that's a Shantabaris card right now. That seems like that's a little bit your certainly from this year, that's your Palace Siege.
Yep. I love it.
Oh yeah, so we got a bunch of cards. From this set. I think I mean, not without going into the legendaries. I think this set though was great for legendaries, and then like just okay for other stuff. Like we talked about, so Mirage Mirror, Torment of Hellfire, Ramunap Excavator. I think outside of legendary creatures, those are really the best cards. I mean, Hour of Revelation solid.
I haven't brewed with it yet, but I think God Pharaoh's Gift has potential to be really fantastic. It's super expensive, but you can't deny the effect of just eternalizing a creature from your graveyard every combat step with haste. So like that seems fairly abusable.
Yeah, I think the thing that's kept that off of Commander player, well, not all Commander players, obviously. Some are probably using it, but I think like Commander players are afraid to exile stuff from their graveyards when they want to use their graveyard as a resource.
Good point.
I think we mostly want to be able to use those resources and then just have them still be there at the end of the day, like if they get dealt with or whatever. Whereas God Pharaoh's Gift adds it as a resource still, but then once it's used, it's used. I would say that I felt the same way. And then I don't know what episode number it is, but it's the one where we did what's his name? The Grixis Unearth Commander?
Cedraxis.
Cedraxis. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, so that commander has Unearth, so all the things from your graveyard, very similar. They come out of the graveyard with haste, and then they're exiled, right? That's what Unearth is.
Yeah.
That commander was so fun to use, and that ability was so great. And yeah, it's a downside that the thing gets exiled, but like you get so much value off of it again. And I think God Pharaoh's Gift is basically the same thing. It's very similar. So, but it, instead of Unearth, where I think it goes away at the end of the turn, God Pharaoh's Gift lets it stay there. Like we know that that's good. We know that that's better. I think this card is underrated in Commander. And I think we should.
It's just a price thing.
Yeah, it's almost greedy, like the way we normally treat our graveyards when we're playing a graveyard deck. It's like I don't ever want my graveyard to be exiled. I don't want anything to be exiled from it. I want things to go back there, and then I can pull them out again and keep them going forever. It's like, okay, yeah, that's obviously that's great, but like don't be afraid to like use up those resources, because that's how you win games, right?
Use up the rees.
Yeah, so. I think it's underplayed for what it is right now, and I don't know. It's a pretty good card.
Fair.
But let's take a look at the legendaries, because this is where this set really shines, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the gods here. The gods in this set are a little different from the gods from the previous one. First of all, we didn't even talk about the gods, the Amonkhet gods.
I think we just
kind of ran over them quickly, but yeah, these gods are just definitely better. They're 2 colors, and their abilities are absolute insanity. If you've ever played against any of these ones, you realize how annoying they are. I'm going to talk about the Locust God quick, because this is the deck that we end up playing a lot. Our boy Guy in our play group, he's been bringing the Locust God in.
It's a mean deck.
It's a mean deck, and it's
I love it.
We've now grown to know that you just got to kill this thing. You just got to kill this deck. He's the blue-red one, the 6 mana 4 blue-red, the legendary god. He's a 4/4 flying. Whenever you draw a card, you create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. Then, of course, you can pay 4, draw a card, and discard a card. I've never seen that happen, I don't think.
Yeah.
When it dies, it just gets returned to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step.
So good.
This thing, you'll never pay the commander tax on this thing. Hardly ever. Yeah.
And the fact that those little insects get haste is what makes it so brutal. Because, like, you can just do all these shenanigans in your first main, and if you're like, oh, I think I can go off this turn, yeah, okay. I'll draw a bunch of cards, I'll cycle, I'll wheel a bunch, and then, yeah, here you go. I'll hit you for all these millions of insects. If they didn't have haste, this would go from crazy good to just very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember being like, yeah, this is just kind of like a worse version of Niv Mizzet. And it's like, well, you could look at it that way, but also almost more accurately, you should look at it that it's better, because there's a lot of things that when creatures come in, they deal damage and things like that, and sacrificing, and oh man, it gets real messy real quick. So this card's great.
Ooh, baby.
I think we do need to up our speed moving through these, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we're taking a little time.
Yeah, we're taking a little bit of time. I mean, this can be a little bit longer. That's okay. But
I mean, this is the meatiest part of the episode.
Yeah, that's true. And so, you know, we've got other legendary creatures here, like obviously the Scorpion God. We've got the Scarab God. Don't forget about hang on.
All those mono ones. I think Neheb.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really wanted to talk
fired
about
up my brain.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Neheb, because this one had a big impact on our show.
It did. Like SRAM, this took a red deck in a little bit of a different direction, and it was so exciting. It's so exciting to, like, yeah, man, I love doing this episode. I have the deck in real life. It's a blast to play. Just love it. It's just, yeah, just for those, it's Neheb the Eternal, 3 red for a 4/6 with a flick 3. So even if he becomes blocked, the defending player will lose 3 life. And in your second main, you get red mana for every point of damage, for every one life lost, which is better than damage, because damage dealt causes life loss, but life loss is not always damage. But in this case, don't matter. If the life total went down, Neheb benefits.
This is definitely one of the decks that we got talked to about.
This is one of those decks where, like, we were in, like, Twitter just, like, being like, ooh, have you guys thought about this card? Yeah. And then, like, ooh, have you thought about this card? Yeah. And we would just, like, throw back and forth ideas. Like, this deck kept evolving well after the episode. Yeah,
and of course, honorary mention goes to, like, Unesh and Razaketh, also 2 awesome legendary creatures. Unesh being the Sphinx Lord, and then Razaketh just being like an awesome, crazy tutor creature. Sacrifice base, all this kind of stuff. So great card. But yeah, like I said, I think the set was better for legendaries than the previous, and that's some good stuff, but not so much good stuff.
Cool. What came out next was Commander 17.
Right.
Huge for us. They bumped it up earlier instead of coming out in around the holiday season. It comes out a bunch earlier. We're only going to talk about some of the non-reprints for this, I think.
Yeah, for the most part. There were some
key ones. We'll mention one or two,
but you know how it is. They're going to reprint Sol Ring. They're going to reprint Command Tower, and so
that's all good for us.
All that kind of stuff is all good. Obviously, this is our bread and butter. This is what we look forward to every year. We're so stoked.
We're super stoked because we got a couple of previews for this one. We were so excited about that.
Yeah, our first preview ever was here. We had 2 of the dragons from the dragon deck.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take a look at some of the new cards. How we felt about these cards and their impact, sort of.
So there's a lot of tribal stuff, right?
Lots. I mean,
Which
these were tribal. These were tribal decks.
admittedly, I'm not the most excited about the tribal cards because I only have like 1 or 2 tribal decks. That's not it's not my favorite kind of deck, so for me that's nothing. But we still got something like the Hammer of Nazan, right? 4 colorless. It's just a crazy artifact card because it when it comes in, you can attach it to a creature, and then when other artifacts come in, you immediately attach it to other creatures. And it just makes the creature it's attached to +2/+0 and indestructible as well. Pretty good.
Pretty good. And it gets obviously even better when you team him up with Nazan himself. It's very, very good with this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know what's funny though? I think my favorite tribal card didn't come out in the Commander set this year.
Oh, it came out of the next set?
I think it came out in Ixalan, yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, we should talk briefly about Teferi's Protection. This is a card that's going wild.
Wild
everybody
style.
Loves it. Although it has come back down to earth price-wise a little bit.
I mean, it's still way more than I think it ought to be.
Yeah, it's still over $10. It's like $11 or $12. But this was it was up there for a while. It was like $20-$30 for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is just your combo protection. Your
it phases your entire existence out of the game until your next turn.
Yeah. And then so just anything that needs to wait till your next upkeep, guess what? Teferi's Protection will allow you to wait till your next upkeep.
They changed phasing for this card. They allow tokens to phase now.
Right. Yes, they do, don't they? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tokens didn't phase before, but this card, they were like, no, we want this card to be better. This isn't good enough.
Yeah, this isn't good enough. This doesn't protect completely game-winning board states enough. Now you can keep your tokens too.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, I didn't actually get any of the Commander decks this year.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even get one. I may go back and get one. Because I always wait till Christmas anyways. It's just that this year they came out in like August or something.
They
so
did.
Normally they come out in November. So it's like, well, I'll wait a month and see if any of my family or my wife or whatever wants to give me one for Christmas. And this year, I got Ultimate Guard decks and boxes, which is great. But yeah, so I may go back and take a look at 1 or 2 of the Commander decks. We'll see though. But yeah, so I haven't actually even got to play with this card yet.
Well, we got some fantastic legendaries.
Of course, right?
They're meant to be tribal, but like, I mean, we're not going to go super deep on these, but I have a couple of these in real life. I put together an Okagashi deck that I love. I put together, which one is it? The Kess. I think Kess is fantastic. Kess Dissident Mage.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful ability, being able to cast. It's basically, what's his name? What's the Abzan creatures from the graveyard? It's that one.
Oh, Carador.
It's Carador for spells, right?
Yeah.
Which is like super fun.
Mm-hmm. I made one also. I made it. I guess I had a vampire deck and I just turned it into Edgar Markov just because Edgar Markov is just too good.
Yeah.
You got to have him. He's so great. But there's a lot of other stuff a lot of other ones that stood out to us. Mathis Fiendseeker, the bounty counters. That looked really cool. And some of the ones that kind of flew under the radar. Your Tygam Ojutai Master and your Tygam Sidisi's Hand. Like, I actually haven't seen very, very many people talking about these cards at all, but I think they're really neat. And I think like coming out of this set, there's a lot of tribal love, obviously, for the dragon commanders you get, or the cats, or the wizards, and so on. But these are 2 guys that kind of flew a little under the radar, and I think they're really they have really fun and unique commander abilities.
Agreed.
Overall, I think this set was great. I really do. I'm the same with Sean. I'm like not the biggest when it comes to tribal. I have a vampire deck and I have a soldiers deck, which is kind of more of just a tokens deck. But there is some soldier synergy in it. But like that's it is when it comes to tribal for me. So I wasn't like losing my mind about this set. Certainly, this is like the least excited I was for any of these. But at the same time, I think it's good that that it was made, and I think that there's a lot of good cards in it. And yeah, I still think they came up with some awesome non-tribal commanders in this tribal set, right? Like, there's nothing about Mathis that says you need to be vampires. There's nothing even about Kess that says you need to be wizards, right? So
No.
So I think that they did an excellent job with that.
My one criticism is lay off the Swiftfoot boots for a bit and start putting Lightning Greaves in every deck.
Yeah.
Like just spread that around a little bit, Wizards. Like, we got enough boots.
Yeah, we certainly have enough boots. Lightning Greaves only in one deck. Like, at least put it in two. Come on.
I mean,
like maybe it doesn't have to be in all of them, but like I understand. Like, that one's like a higher rarity. It's a better version. Sure, okay, whatever. But only in one. Come on.
Just don't put in. We don't need boots every time. Like, use this instead of boots.
So they did a great job here of creating these tribal decks and then making the next set a tribal set.
Yeah.
So we got Ixalan after that. And we're still right in Ixalan. We're just sort of exiting the triple Ixalan draft environment right now.
Triple Ix.
Yeah. So and as I was saying, like, my favorite tribal card was not in Commander 2017 this year. It was in Ixalan, and it's Vanquisher's Banner.
Yep.
Which is like a must get if you got any of those tribal commander decks. Vanquisher's Banner, the 5-mana artifact, as you choose a creature type when it comes into play. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1, so it's an anthem.
Standard.
And whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, you draw a card. There you go.
That's the best. Like, if you were to talk about like what tribal things cards give, some things give all of the tribe an anthem effect. Some give them all like maybe like a death touch kind of thing. Something else. It's like, if you could just pick any two things, what would you pick? These two.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. Anthem, draw a card. Done.
Yep.
Like, it's really good. I've had this card out in that vampire deck I was talking to you guys about, and
it's gross.
It's friggin' awesome. Like, it's amazing. And there is something about it that, although it's that good, it's not threatening. Like, yeah, it's a card draw engine, and people will see that, and some people will know that they have to take it out or whatever, or feel like they want to take it out, but it's not a real threatening thing. So you'll get good value off of it, I think, before people decide that it's too much, and then they can't. You gotta take care of it. But what do you think overall for Ixalan for Commander? I looking like hindsight, like when it came out, we're always pretty excited. We see a lot of things, but now that we've actually had a lot of time to play with these cards, what do you think?
I think Ixalan turbocharged the C17 vampire deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Sanctum Seeker, like
turbocharged
Sanctum Seeker alone.
Yep.
Like, we've seen it. We've seen a game where Sanctum Seeker comes out and then everyone's just dead.
Yeah, right?
It's insane.
I think we did not get a dense amount of cards. I think Dinosaur Tribal was very sexy and it was very exciting, but I just don't think it's there right now.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a big fan of Sunbird's Invocation. That's very much my type of card, right? It's just this 6-mana do nothing enchantment, but it turbocharges everything you do from now on. And I think Revel in Riches, although looks like it's supposed to be a treasure card, but I don't think you need any other treasures. I think that card just exists to be Wrath protection. If you have that card on the board, nobody can Wrath the board, because if they do, you will get 10 treasures most likely, and then you will just win on your next upkeep if people don't have anything to do about it.
Yeah. It's we've talked about this in theory. We still haven't seen it exactly play out yet, but I agree with you. I think that in a go wide creature deck, like, I think you put this in Zombie Tribal, right?
But it's when an opponent's creature dies, right? So like, just put this out there and just like, yeah, creatures are gonna die.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry,
it's gonna happen. Yeah, and it's like, my board is good, but I don't want anyone to Wrath the board, so I'll just play this out now. And if you do, because like, that's all the thing. But we're gonna Wrath the board when it's like, yeah, I'm gonna lose a few things, but so is everybody else. It's like, well, good luck.
Yeah, the only time when this like isn't really that threatening is if you have the big board and all your opponents don't have anything to deal with. But yeah, if your opponents together have 10 or more creatures, they cannot Wrath, because when it comes back
It's another-
around, you'll win the game.
It's another argument that maybe we should move beyond wraths that destroy all creatures and focus solely on exiling all creatures or shuffling them back in or putting them on bottom or something like that.
Well, we've always known that those are the better versions for sure.
Yep.
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 Yeah. I mean, that's if people start really running Revel and Riches. I don't know if they're gonna just start doing that. Just because we.
It's not there's other reasons though, right? It always comes up. We say that a lot.
Definitely. But overall, I think as for a commander set, if we're looking at it from that sort of look, there's like, it was I think it was just sort of middle of the road. Like there's a couple really great stuff like Vanquisher's Banner, Sunbird's Invocation. I love Spell Swindle too. I think it's like if you're playing any kind of deck that wants a bunch of counter spells, is a great one because it basically does become, it either becomes like a regular counter spell, or it's free, or it just nets you mana. It becomes almost like a mana drain.
Yeah, right. It's like a very fair mana drain.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great. I mean, Hostage Taker again is a card that's like really expensive because was really expensive because it was getting played in Standard. It's again come back down to earth. It's about $5 now, but that's a card that's very good in Commander. Like it's
very good.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like this. Overall, I'd say it was just okay.
Yeah, it did not like excite me tons about, some of those like flip lands. Like I think they made those. They were going to be the masterpieces or the whatever we're calling them, but they just became cards. They flipped. So like we got a nice like little bit of a like Gaia's Cradle kind of reprint.
Right. We can't forget about those,
are fun.
Right? Yeah, Growing Rights of Itlamok, big impact as far as Commander goes because people can now get their Gaia's Cradle if they want. Same thing goes for like, what's it called? Like Dowsing Dagger turns into, what's it called?
Dowsing Dagger turns into I forget which one. It turns into Gilded Lotus.
Gilded Lotus. And it was Lotus. I knew it was something Lotus. Oh,
yeah.
I'm so dumb. And we got a couple of things like that. Those were probably the best Commander cards out of it, outside of like one or two others. But yeah, overall, just okay. Legendaries in this set. Did we talk about that yet?
No, not yet. Again, a little disappointing. Like none of them really. I mean, except for one, which I really want to make in real life, which is Tishana, Voice of Thunder. I really fell in love during the Dorks Tribal episode, but yeah, overall, just not that excited by them. Certainly fine. Vona is pretty neat, but again, it's a lot of overlap in black white that we already have.
Yeah, I think Admiral Beckett Brass was the most exciting for something that already existed. Pirates getting a proper Grixis commander is pretty fun. Gishath is a great card, and once we get even more dinosaurs with this next set, I think Gishath is going to be Gishath is a fun and good commander. Yeah, we had a couple little vampires, your Vonas, your Mavrin or Marvin. Fiend, and Tishana, but definitely like just kind of ho-hum.
I guess that speaks to I'm not that excited by Tribal, so that's why these things didn't do it.
Maybe some people were super excited about that, but
yeah. So we got more reprint. Speaking of Gaia's Cradle, is Gaia's Cradle in this? No, but Mana Drain was. We had Iconic Masters came out. That gave us a bunch of reprint. I have not dealt with Iconic Masters yet. I've not bought singles for it yet or anything like that, but there's a ton of stuff in here.
Yeah, now's the time too. Like this is, I think, where we're basically around these last couple weeks where we're seeing the lowest. It's gonna start to rise back up, right? So, I mean, we're talking about cards like Consecrated Sphinx and Elish Norn and Necropotence and Sheoldred and Avacyn. These are all cards that were reprinted in Iconic Masters that are great in Commander. Austere Command, that was a very exciting one. Vorinclex, Kiki Jiki, Cryptic Command. So many great Kokusho. A lot of great stuff here. We got Teferi. We got an Archangel of Thune. Like these are mythics and rares, obviously. So these cards are stuff that were expensive to start from, and we're cutting down the price. Like Consecrated Sphinx is now about, it was like $20 easy, and now it's like 11. So like still high up there, but definitely closer. If we're talking about stuff that was like out of our range that now we're bringing back within that $5 range, stuff like Thran Dynamo.
Yeah, Thran Dynamo.
$5-6. Now it's down to about $3.
I mean, it's not technically, but Kiki Jiki's almost $5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Kiki Jiki's in the range where we would put it in a deck, but we would say like, I know this is more than $5, but it's really good in the deck.
It's true. It's like $5.50. That's even cheaper than when I bought it after the second Modern Masters. I found it like on a thing for like $6. I was in Chicago. I remember I bought them.
Yeah. Oblivion Stone is just over $5.
Oh wow. How much is Vorinclex? Vorinclex was crazy. It was so expensive. It's under $10.
Which color is Vorinclex?
It's the green one.
I don't even know because I don't.
Yeah, you don't even
think
think
about
these
cards. Yeah, right.
But yeah, so much like with Modern Masters, this one had obviously a lot of great reprints. Sword of Plowshares is in there. I like that they're reprinting that so much that now that card is $1.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first started playing Commander, that Swords was even though it had quite a few reprints at that point, it was still like a $4 or $5 card.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, yeah, right where it should be, right around that dollar mark.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say here other than that. Like, obviously, it's great getting reprints. This set, that's its biggest Commander set. It doesn't like there were no like real big Commanders printed in this. All the legendaries I think are monocolored. So we got like the Praetors, and we got like Kokusho and things like that. So I don't know. Those are just okay. As far as Commanders go, they're monocolored, so they're not that exciting, right?
Yeah. Like again, it's tough to compete in that realm. It's tough to compete on that level.
Obviously, very good cards, but not much to talk about from the side of like which Commanders we're gonna get. So, Iconic Masters didn't really give us much to talk about when it comes to that, but certainly they did give us a lot of. They gave a lot of people a lot of access to some really expensive cards, even like Mana Drain and stuff like that, right? So. Yeah,
Mana Drain's half price. It's like Ancestral Visions is $15. Like, it's like these are the cards where I'm just like, this is the price where I'm just like, maybe I'll treat myself.
Maybe I'll buy one.
Maybe I'll buy one Ancestral Visions.
My favorite price drop in this set though is definitely Austere Command.
Yeah,
I love Austere Command. It's the modal Wrath, right?
Yep.
Artifacts, enchantments, creatures 3 or less mana cost or 4 or greater, and it's like now the same thing. This card was like almost $10, I think, at a point, and now it's down to like $3.50, which is great. I gotta go on a shopping spree to wizardtower.com. Yeah.
Use coupon code BREWYEAR for January.
BREWYEAR is the new code for
monthly codes. Will the February code have some tie into Valentine's? Probably. Bruintines? I don't know.
Pure speculation.
Don't quote us on it, but I bet you if you just guess that, it probably will work.
Okay, and finally, the last set of the year, the last full like proper set that came out was...
It counts.
Yeah, it does.
Unstable.
Yeah.
Now, is it still legal? It's legal for like another week or so, right? Like mid-January or something like that?
January 15th or something. So like another 2 weeks.
Yeah. So these are the silver bordered cards. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in here. As always, I mean, it's technically legal now, but it's not going to be afterwards. I mean, if you play at your house or, with some pals, the rules are what you make it, right?
Yeah.
So like just play with silver border cards if you want to. I think they're a lot of fun. They add a lot of fun. We did a great guest episode with the Commanderin guys, and we talked about like our opinions on how fun they seemed to be. And I think it's just a matter of just pull your table, right? If someone at your group wants to make an X Commander deck, let them make an X, right?
Yeah.
None of these are any more broken than other Commanders. They're just weird.
Yeah, what can we say about? I mean, there were some fun legendaries in Unstable. There were some great cards. There were some very reasonable, should be real Magic cards in this set, I think. There were some that were out of your mind bonkers crazy, and there's no way they should be real cards. And of course the lands. We got a lot of lands here that were basic lands that look very, very nice. And we're all super stoked about that. So overall, the impact on Commander, it was fun to talk about an unset and its impact on Commander for a while. Definitely. Like that was, I think for me, ultimately, that was the most fun. I mean, I haven't drafted Unstable yet. I haven't had a chance to.
Me neither. I gotta say, like the last couple months of the year got real busy for me, and I didn't nearly. We'll talk about resolutions in a sec, but like I didn't play nearly enough Magic that I wanted.
No, same here. So hopefully we will be able to remedy that though this month. But you know, as far as Commander goes, I think it's fun to talk about this, and I like the idea that it's sort of, I don't know, like your own personal games, your kitchen table games of Commander. Like you can start bringing in a couple of these cards, and it's gonna add some spice to Commander, I think, which is fun.
Yeah, we like spice.
We love spice. So yeah, there you go. That set by set year in review. Overall, very good year for Commander, I'd say. Tribal year, certainly. White got access to vampires and zombies this year. Like that's a big tribal impact, right? Amonkhet and gave us the white mummies, the zombies, and Ixalan, more so than anything else, gave us the white vampires. We had dinosaurs come in, so a whole new tribe come in. Like, yeah, so definitely the theme of the year, I think, was pretty tribal.
Yeah.
Not only just because of the C17, just because it seems like a lot of the other sets kind of ran with that as well. So good. Cool though, but it was a good year. It was good stuff. We got a lot of great reprints and a lot of powerful cards, as we just said. We're gonna briefly look back over the actual show. Not going to be as long as looking back over the actual cards produced this year, but there's a couple decks that we built that had an impact. And Sean, I think. Did you remember that this was the year we did Screaming Bald Guys?
Was that 2017?
Yes,
I love Screaming Bald Guys.
We did it early. I think it was just after we had the professor on our show, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is also an amazing thing.
What a treat.
What a treat it was. Screaming Bald Guys Tribal was speaking of a tribal year. That's a deck we made. This was also the year of Epic Experiment.
Oh, this was a deck that fired off in our brains. This was also around the time of GP Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I remember because you put some of this deck together at GP Vegas. You I need more singles. And you went, we were in the process of brewing it. We were on the plane, laptops open, being like, what about this card? How do you think about this card?
Yeah,
this card made a home in our brewing brains, and we couldn't stop thinking about it. And man,
I think Vegas was 2 or maybe even 3 weeks after we did that show too.
Yeah.
It was long enough, but we were still thinking about this deck well into well past that, I'd say. We went into the GP Vegas. I did manage to put the actual deck together. It did very well.
It's a very good deck.
It's a very fun and very good deck. Sometimes it wins so out of nowhere that you I brought it back home after GP Vegas and played in our meta and won, basically did nothing for 6 or 7 turns and then just won the game. And it's it's, I guess when you're playing against when it's not GP Vegas, people bring their top stuff, people bring their great stuff, or people bring their flashy stuff they want to show off, right? Which is, I'd say, is more what Epic Experiment is, because Epic Experiment isn't it's not going to win every game, trust me, but but it's a flashy deck, right? So I brought it home and then won that way, and I was oh, is that what this deck does in a normal environment? Oh, okay. So anyways, but it's still so fun. It's great.
Yeah.
It like you said, it really stuck in our minds for a long time, and the community really got into Epic Experiment. Our listeners and on Twitter, we got into talking about Epic Experiment a lot, which is a lot of that discussion. Not a lot, but a bunch of that discussion has moved to our Discord now.
Yeah.
Our patron Discord, which is there's so much deck talk going on there, deck brewing. So I can only imagine what it would have been like if we had the Discord up then, but we do now. So you can get in on it at any point.
Definitely. We also did we did some 1DH decks this year. Very cool alternative format.
Yeah.
We did 2 episodes. I brewed Rashmi deck. Andy brewed Jared Golgari Lichlord. It would be interesting. I didn't think of this until just now to like look up what they cost right now to see if all the cards are still under $1.
Oh wow, yeah, that is interesting. I do like looking back at some of our like old decks like that we first made in on our tapped out page and just seeing like, wow, that deck is way too expensive now. Like something in there went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find the Rashmi deck, I think.
1DH is a fun format though, right? It's a super budget format. No card can be over $1. But you'd be surprised, like we are constantly, especially from reprints and stuff, where you look back at cards and you're like, wow, that's $1 now. Like, wow, or that's under $1. So you can actually get some pretty powerful stuff out of there. And that was our conclusion when we made those two shows and those 2 decks that really showed us what 1DH is all about. And it's really great. We already talked about Neheb. Neheb was a fun deck. Sean brewed up and built in real life. I don't think I've played against your Neheb deck in real life, or maybe I have and it didn't.
Well, I'm still tuning it. I haven't done my homework yet. I just threw it together with what I had. One of my New Year's resolutions is to finally go up to all my decks and like I have a lot of holes in them, and I'm just like, I got to fill up those holes.
I have done that in previous years, and it feels really good to do that, and it's very fun. This is the year where we introduce achievement unlocked decks.
Yeah, those are so fun.
We started out with 2 ones that I think had a real effect on us as well. Like we did the Great Aurora was Sean's achievement unlocked deck, and mine was Hellkite Tyrant. And I believe we've made both of these in paper as well. I know I've made Hellkite Tyrant.
No, not yet, but it's definitely on my list of like I just have to like put the order in.
Right. Okay. So I mean, enough, and it doesn't like you'd think that we would have like thousands of EDH decks, and we do have a lot for sure, because we've brewed like so many. But it is special when even our own, like we brew a deck for the show and then go, oh, I actually want to play this in real life. Like this has caught my eye so much so that I actually want to spend the money and make it. I mean, I love it when I hear from listeners that they've like, hey, I'm going to brew a version of your deck. Like, can I see the thing or whatever, right? Like, can I see the deck?
It's very exciting.
It's always so fun. And like, it's crazy. Like I love seeing that. And so when it happens to ourselves, it's the same thing though. I don't expect to build every deck I brew, but when you do, it's like, this is great. And I played Hellkite Tyrant, I think twice. I think I won 1 game with it and lost 1 game with it. So like I was happy with how it played out. It was fun both times. So that's all you want. Yeah,
it's I will say this. There are moments where I'm just like feeling a little uninspired. It's like, I don't really have a deck I want to build right now. Mm-hmm. But we're always brainstorming show ideas, and it never ceases to amaze me where there's a show idea where I'm just like, yeah, good episode idea. Fine, we'll do it. But then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is way better this is really fun. Like there's something here, and it's such a fun discovery. And I'll just leave you with this. Just try your ideas out, because you never know. Like in your brain, they might not be exciting, but once you get them in card form, it's like, ooh, this is fun. This is really fun.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, we as far as just shows go, I guess there's no place to really talk about GP Vegas. We kind of already touched on it.
Yeah.
But GP Vegas was a great experience for us this year. We went, we got to go out there. We got to meet a lot of people who listen to the show and like the show, and we got to play with other creators and stuff. Like was that the first time Well, it was the first time we met Sean from Commander, and for sure. But I think it was the first time you met all those people, right? Like Jimmy and Josh and Phil and all those guys.
I had met Jimmy when he came through Toronto.
Oh, right. Yes, Jimmy came here. Right.
But that's it.
So it was a big meeting, obviously, for Sean, and then for both of us, for a bunch of other people. We even went to the this little thing at the tournament play. What do you call it? The convention center, where we got to meet a bunch of people from like Loading Ready Run and MTA and all that kind of stuff. That was really neat. The Professor and Wedge, we met those guys in person there as well. Like big MTG names. It was really fun. We got to play with some people who like work for Wizards and stuff like that. Like it was a real, like I can't say how good an experience it was just in general. Like going there and just playing Magic like all day was so fun. And
it was a dream.
With other people, other content creators, and other people who are listeners and viewers and stuff like that, was so great. Like everyone was so nice and everyone was so great. You just couldn't have asked for better, really.
Couldn't have asked for better. Did we eat convention food all the time and probably not feel great that way? Yes, but
did we eat breakfast at Denny's every single morning?
Every single morning.
Yes, we did.
Yes, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
Sean will order that extra egg. He doesn't care.
I'll order an extra egg.
when he's in GP mode and we're at a Denny's, Sean's gonna order that extra egg.
Got to get that protein.
So yeah, we had a great time out there, man. It was hot. It was so hot.
It was. Yeah, man. How hot was it?
We also saw the weirdest game of werewolf we'll ever see in our lives.
Oh boy, we should do a supplemental on it. That's something else. That's something else entirely.
We got to go to this place where like, all these people were playing werewolf, and it was so like intense because it was all like gamers and like Magic players and stuff, and it was like really these people who like are really really good at the games that they play, like whether it's poker or Magic and stuff. And it was like, whoa, these guys have figured this game out, man. Like this is really cool.
These people were like 3 levels deep on werewolf. To me that's a camp game where you're just like, oh, this is fun for an hour.
Yeah.
But they were like out like I know that you know that I know that you know, so I'm gonna go one layer past this. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to be there and see it happen, and it was but it was also quite intense. But it was great. So Sean, looking back over the year as a whole, there's a couple just quick questions to finish off the show here. What do you think from regular sets was your favorite card for Commander release this year?
I mean, my personal favorite, Torment of Hailfire.
Yeah, makes sense. We mentioned it. It's just the big black X spell that just does so much damage.
Yeah. What about you?
So much damage. Oh man, I gotta say, I even though I'm not like, I'm just kind of briefly looking back over what we already talked about. I'm not the biggest tribal player, but I think it might be what's it called? Vanquisher's Banner. I just think that card is so good. You know what though? This year also, man, it also gave us Anointed Procession, which I just love so much. So you know what? I'm gonna say it's Anointed Procession. Actually, I love that card. White needed it. It's a token color. How did it take this long to get it? Anointed Procession it is. Yeah. With Vanquisher's Banner, a close second though.
Good.
What about from your C17 cards?
Disrupt Decorum. I love Goad, and I think we should get more of it. They didn't give us nearly enough Goad that they could have. I still think, I mean, this is the closest thing to like Goad X creatures. This is Goad every creature that isn't yours, which I love. Right. So that's better than Goad X creatures. I think we still need some sort of artifact that can tap to Goad a thing, that doesn't have to connect, that doesn't have to attack, that doesn't have to enter the battlefield. Just a repeatable Goad engine.
Yeah, a repeatable Goad engine is something that feels like it's not like that's not broken or something,
I mean, like the only reason it would be broken is if you don't price it right. Like if you just price it reasonably, like 1 in a red, Goad target creature. If you want to stack up a ton of mana and Goad 6 creatures and spend your whole turn doing that, fine. Mm-hmm. If you just want to Goad one thing, also fine.
Yep. Yeah, totally. My favorite card from the C17 decks, I mean, I did love so many of the commanders, but if I'm gonna if I'm not gonna pick a commander, which yeah, I don't even know if I would, because I haven't got to play with the commanders that much. So like, I'm not totally sure, but I think it's probably Hammer and Azan. We already mentioned this one too. It's just the artifact. Whenever it comes in or another one comes in, you can attach it for free, and it gets +2 +0 and indestructible. It's just a great card for if you ever want things to be indestructible. Basically, like you don't even need to be running an equipment deck for this to happen, right?
It's inspired me to brew an equipment deck.
Yeah, it's so great, and I love the kitties. I just love all the
Kitty.
I love all the kitty cat decks. So
Yep.
I was very happy to see those guys, and I did like Nazan quite a bit. The actual creature, he was great.
Yeah.
What about? Oh yeah, okay. So here we go. What about your actual just favorite commanders? Your favorite legendary creature from all of last year. This is a big pool to choose from, considering we also did get, the C17 commanders.
Yep. I'm gonna go with my boy Neheb.
Yes.
Because it plays mono red in a different way, and Neheb wants you to play X spells. I just love it. I love X spells.
You love that.
Yeah.
Man, you're so quick on them. I guess because we ended up talking about.
Yeah, I kind of like answered them as we were going.
For me, I think my favorite commander did come from C17. Hang on, I'm like scrolling through, looking for the image again here. I think, you know what? There were some bonkers commanders in this set. We had 5-color dragons. We had basically like you said, Carador, but for spells, which is like that's very good, But I think at the end of the day, I ended up just liking a pretty simple commander, and it's one that I ended up making a deck around, and I guess it's gonna have to be Edgar Markov. He just turbocharged the vampire deck into being something that like it's such a iconic like tribe in Magic, and people love vampires, but we've never really had like a high powered, you know what I mean? We never had that crazy high powered vampire deck. You could run Olivia, and she herself was very high powered and very good. But I really think like overall, like the tribe was like, this is just okay. But Edgar Markov comes in and just like changes things for that deck a lot. Adds a color if you're running just the red-black vampires, and just makes it very, very difficult to deal with. So Edgar Markov is probably my favorite commander. Again,
Eddie.
Or the little kitties, or the kitties. I did like Nazan. He's my honorable mention, my second probably. And I do plan to build a deck with him, but I haven't yet. I haven't got around to it yet.
So yeah, and then maybe is there like a reprint that we didn't get that you were hoping for?
This is tough because this is like something we didn't see. So it's tougher to look at a list of things and be like, what didn't you get from this that you wanted? You mentioned Lightning Greaves.
Yeah.
We did get it technically, but we didn't get it exactly in the numbers we wanted. I would have liked to see a doubling season reprint.
Oh yeah. That should come back.
Yeah. That would have been. I think that would have been good. I mean, it's something I'm upset about. We did get some really great reprints this year, so I'm not like, I don't feel burned or anything that we didn't get it, but. I think it would have been nice, and I don't think that card's impact is anything outside of Commander. Like, so why didn't they just include it? I don't know. Why didn't they include it in something? Put it in an Iconic Masters reprint at regular rare. Like, doing that.
I want to reprint. This is a modern card, so I know, but it's only was ever in Betrayers of Kamigawa. But I really want it for Commander. Goryo's Vengeance.
Oh, really?
Goryo's Vengeance is 1 and a black. It's an instant. It is also arcane, and you can splice it onto arcane, but that rarely comes up in our format. But return target legendary creature card from your graveyard to play. It gains haste. Exile it at the end of turn. This is one of the very few ways to instant speed reanimate a creature. Mm-hmm. This is a way to get your big Eldrazi out of the graveyard before they shuffle back in, things like that. And I think for that reason, it's in Modern and it's like very expensive. It's like 30-40 bucks right now. I mean, I'm no finance guy. Sometimes these ones are hard to reprint in these sets because it costs too much, but I want one. And it's too much.
I just want one.
I want one.
Yeah, I mean, this is something obviously I think they should be thinking about for the next Modern Masters set, obviously.
Yeah.
We did get some of those types of cards. I opened a what is it? The modern guy that's like you minus him for the life you have. Death Shadow, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I ended up getting one of that, and that's a great card if you ever build a what's it called? A scavenge deck with the green black scavenge commander.
Wait, is it? What is his power and toughness in the graveyard?
It's like 13. It's 13.
And then he gets minus.
It's when he's on the board,
great.
he gets the minus, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you for one mana, you get 13 counters for scavenge. Anyways,
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Great. That's our. That's what we thought of the year. Basically, I think that's kind of it, right?
Yeah. Mostly. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. So just on our way out here, we definitely wanted to give a few shout outs, right?
Oh, for sure. Right. So I want to give a shout out to like all the other Commander people, all the other content creators, I think, who, I want to give them a shout out because the community is stronger because of everybody, right? Like no one can do this on their own. We're stronger together than we are apart. So of course, got a shout out to our boys over at Command Zone, Jimmy and Josh, and Commander Info. We just did a guest with them, those guys, Phil and Shivam and Sean. It's always so great to interact with those. So honored to like share some like the world with them, I suppose. But I kind of discovered some other content creators this year that like I think are doing some really great work out there, and I've really taken to their podcast. I gotta say, I am a huge fan of another fellow Canadian Commander podcast, the Commander Cookout. Those guys brew interesting decks, right? Like they don't always keep to the budget, but they got a fun thing going on over there. You want a couple of Canadians? Add that to your list for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely check those guys out. There's also just some other creators that we got into and we're just doing great stuff. There's the Brothers War podcast if you like to get out there for the like the Vorthos side of things and like the lore. That's what they focus on, and I love that stuff. And actually, I love it in the form that they do it. I love it in the form of a podcast. I don't always want to sit and like read like a long thing about it or whatever, but when you just get it in that podcast form, I think it's like really, really great. I mean, we're always talking, the professor, obviously he's out there. He's the biggest Magic YouTube channel, but he was, so nice to us and came on our show, and we met him in GP Vegas stuff. We had to shout him out, and like, just, there's so much. Oh, we have forgot to do for a while is mention our, we have like a group of comedians here in Toronto that create a podcast that's not Magic related, but it is D&D related.
Yeah.
It's
called Caverns and Comedians.
Yeah, exactly.
CNC. And it's like, yeah, they play D&D. A bunch of comedians play Dungeons and Dragons, but they edit it down to like just the funny parts and like the essentials. Like, so they take like a full play session and edit it down to like a manageable piece. And you can just kind of like go along for the ride. It's a blast.
It's a great time. I definitely recommend checking that one out, especially if you're into D&D. But even if you just like a laugh, it's a good time. So
you know what else I want to shout out too? Because we do more Twitch too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do some Twitch stuff, and these guys were Twitch streamers who turned into a podcast. It's more limited. We all know limited resources. They're great, but I am really digging. I'm blanking on what the name of the actual podcast is. Let me pull up my phone here.
Oh, Lords of Limited?
Lords of Limited, that's it. It's Mr. Metronome and Lord Tupperware on Twitch. They're fantastic streamers. They draft nonstop. They're very interesting. And I gotta say, when they they've been breaking down Limited, and like, I don't know what it is. They just say stuff in a way that makes sense to me. Like, I listen to their podcast and I can feel myself getting smarter about draft. So Lords of Limited, just shout out to those guys.
Further shout outs to our listeners. And
yes,
those of you who watch the YouTube, those of you who listen to the show on whatever audio means you choose. And those obviously that includes patrons, non-patrons, everybody. Like, the interaction that we get from people on Twitter and from in our Discord now and in YouTube comments, it's been overwhelmingly positive, obviously, and just because everyone's so nice, I mean, we like that you do truly make this show, and I think all the shows you listen to, better by interacting with them. You give us ideas, and you like even like correcting mistakes is actually helpful. But but more just about like general support and like being like actually helping the show, like giving us real ideas, spurring ideas from us. Like, I mean, it's really been like so much. And like, we could probably list a bunch of names, but we'd be forgetting a lot too. So, I mean, there's a bunch of you out there, you know who you are. You're in the Twitch streams with us every week, and you're in the you're talking to us on Twitter, you're talking to us in Discord. It's great. It really is great, and we couldn't. This show wouldn't be half as good without you guys, for sure.
It would be 35% as good.
Yeah, exactly. Not even half. We didn't even get there.
Yeah.
That's the most important shout out. That's the most important like thing to take away from it, is that like. And it's honestly one of the great things about doing the show. I know I can speak from my experience, is like meeting and chatting with so many people, out there in the internet is often like this terrible, like, place with anonymity, and it's like, there's all this bad stuff about it. But at the same time, we've managed to really become friends with a lot of you people who are listening, and like, eventually even get the like real privilege to like meet a bunch of you in Vegas and stuff, and hopefully we can just keep doing that every year. And so like, that's a super positive thing that this sort of collection of computers has given us.
Yeah
So yeah,
great.
It's been great, and it's been a great 2017, and I'm looking forward to 2018.
Yeah, one thing we definitely promised last episode was that we're releasing this after the 1st so that we can do that exclusive review of December 28th and 31st. Not much on my end. Andy, you?
Nothing really happened. I
okay,
didn't
great.
really do anything.
That's the Commander's Brew exclusive review of December 28th to 31st.
Yep. If you tuned in just for that, I think like it's probably great. It's probably pretty good that you did that. But not much happened. What can we say? Not a ton happened.
It's a slow period, getting ready for New Year's. Went to New Year's. Danced a bit. Cool.
Yeah, New Year's. I actually stayed in this New Year's for the first time in a very long time. But that is not really magic related. So,
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Okay. So before we go, we talked about this off the beginning of the show. We talked about this off the top of the show. That the playmats, we have them, and they are up for sale. We gave you all the details at the top of the show. And just to reiterate, they're going to be available. We're going to let our patrons in on it first as like a bonus for being patrons of the show, and then we'll release it we'll like show everybody, obviously, sometime after that. So keep an eye peeled for that, whether you're a patron or not, because our playmats are coming. And again, Matt Strutt did such a great job on them. We're so stoked. Go check him out. He's at Messy Comics, Messy with one S on Twitter. Okay, that's it. Brews News is coming up. We'll see you guys further this year.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brews News. I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this week, we've got a very special movie review segment. It's Bruce and Bruce watching DVDs.
Hi, welcome to Bruce and Bruce watching DVDs. I'm Bruce.
And I am Bruce.
Well, this week, we dug into the David Fincher classic Benjamin Button. Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett ask us, how would you live life if you were to live it in reverse? I found it enlightening and uplifting and made me think about how I approach things.
I think if you are turning into a baby, you have a big problem.
Yes, but I also think the metaphor of it to ask us, like, does it matter which direction we live life? In fact, we can only go forwards, no matter whether we're aging or de-aging.
You can't turn into a baby, eh? Trust me, I have tried.
Well, I know you can't turn into a baby, but thematically, the movie asks us to think about, what would you do differently, Bruce?
What would Bruce do differently? Well, first of all, I would not turn into baby. But if I could turn into baby, I would slowly become a child and trick everyone into me eating as much candy as I want.
Oh, great. Well,
now, do you need to do that to eat as much candy as you want? No. But I feel like it would be very funny to see a baby who is a man eating candy.
Well, I do know that before we shot this, you ate all the vegan pizza from the craft services, knowing that I am vegan and I can't have the regular pizza.
This pizza, it had no taste.
But it was the only one I could have eaten, and I would appreciate it if you leave me some of that kind.
I took one bite of this pizza, and I was so angry that it has no taste. The texture is wrong, so I ate the rest of it out of spite for this pizza.
One thing I do if I was aging in reverse is I would go back to when, I was younger, and maybe I wouldn't have all my digestive problems, and I'd be able to eat regular foods.
Yes, and if I were aging in reverse, I would raise more sheep.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I think Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett have marvelous screen chemistry. Seeing them each age in opposite directions is a tragic reminder that everything is fleeting in this life.
They remind me of my two prize oxen, Milosh and Genevieve. The way they look at each other, it inspires me to love.
Well, I think that's a stellar review, Bruce. I give this movie 5 stars.
I give it 3.5 horns out of 4 wild cows.
That's been another edition of Bruce and Bruce watching DVDs. Tune in next time when we'll watch a different movie.
What movie are we going to watch next time? Is what I'm saying. We should have a little bit of talking here at the end while the credits roll over.
I mean, that's what a lot of them do.
That's
but,
what a lot of them do.
It's easier not to tell you because you just ask a lot of unnecessary questions.
But I just want to know. You spring it on me. It's hard to know.
We'll just watch it when we watch it. Is that okay, Bruce?
No.
Back to you, Andy and Sean. Thank you, Bruce and Bruce. An interesting take on some films.
Yeah, definitely some films. They should get Netflix. They can just stream those movies now. They don't have to keep putting in different DVDs and stuff.
I heard it was a real trial just to get DVDs going. One of the Bruces is afraid of technology.
Which one? We'll never know. Okay, well, that's it for us. We're tapped out. We'll pass the turn over to you. Good night.
Good night.
If you want to contact us, I'm at Sean Tabaris.
And I'm at Andy Holbone.
Send us an email at commandersbrew@gmail.com.
You can find out when we go live on Twitch if you follow us at twitch.tv.
And if you care to support us on Patreon, check us out at patreon.com.
And you can find our deck list on tappedout.net.
And if we forgot anything, commandersbrew.com.